the sixth Sunday of Easter. The gospel today is one that we have probably heard often, I have, at marriages, where we hear, love one another as I have loved you, or as I am loving you, and all about remaining faithful and all those good words. But it's not a real wedding gospel, and we'll talk about that a little bit. We have a delightful pastime here at the university. It's watching relationships between male and female, females and males advance. It begins with what we call heing and sheing. And it's a process of meeting and trying to be attractive to one another and attracting one another. And it moves from heing and sheing to hanging out. That's a term there, hanging out. Might be in groups, but they're glad that they are each in the same group. And then it moves to friendship, then to courtship, and then it goes on and on. But some don't. I had two young men this week come to my office because they had been dumped. The heing and sheing, hanging out somewhere, hang it up rather than hanging out. Shakespeare in Sonnet 116 says, love is not love when it alters, when it alterations finds. Love, human love is an experience, believe it or not, of poverty, of incompletion, of not quite. It alters a bit when it alterations finds. That's true. It changes a little bit, sometimes permanently. Separation because of alterations. But love is a poverty because we can't love or feel that love all the time. That would be wonderful. We could be complete and we could complete the other. But we can't. Love is a poverty. Now, Jesus says love is something not that God chooses. Very important. God does not choose to love us. Jesus doesn't choose to love us when he says, you have not chosen me, I have chosen you. That's on the, to be disciples, I have chosen you. But God, these separations that happened, these two young men got dumped. The young women chose not to be in relationship. They're looking for something other. They're looking for completion from another. This wasn't going anywhere, or it wasn't going according to what they would like. They were looking for a love that kind of would complete. Hopefully, totally complete. That's the great desire. Can you complete me? That would be a great experience of being loved. But what Jesus says is, remain in my consistent love, my non-choosing love. God doesn't make a choice to love us. God is love. And God does what God is. And Jesus is the expression of that unchoosing love. And he says, remain in the experience which is limited, which can't complete you. You are too divided. You are too, in a way, you are too in love with yourself to receive my total love. Because you've defined, he says, you've defined love according to completion. My love, in your experience, cannot complete you because you're too preoccupied with loving yourself. My experience of what I want to be loved by God is only attainable in the next experience. We call the next life, but it's an experience of God's love. So what does it mean to remain in God's love? Don't expect, my opinion, don't expect to remain in the awareness of that God's love. Again, that's a poverty. Receiving love is a humbling thing. Because most of us say, how could you love a me that finds it difficult to love that me? Because the way you love me, I say to a friend, or you would say to your spouse, the way you love me, I can't receive it perfectly, and I can't love you in return perfectly. I'm too selfish. I'm too expectation bound of what love has to be. So Jesus in John's Gospel is saying, remain not aware of my love, but remain still seeking it, experiencing it. You will forget it. Your mind will be preoccupied by something else. It's a gospel not about marriage. It's a gospel about discipleship, which is Jesus' embrace of the poverty of humanity. Mine, yours. So loving is a poverty. Experiencing love is a poverty. Experiencing God's infinite love is a poverty. I can't receive it all. I can't stay consistent with it, aware of it. I'm too preoccupied with myself. I want to be loved this way and not that way. So we are encouraged to pray with being loved, considering how poor we are in receiving it and expressing it. Our fears, our inferiority, why don't we love? Well, it might not be received well. It might not be reciprocated. I might fail at it. Jesus says, remain in trying to receive and express love both from God. And here's the thing. Most of us cannot emotionally love God. We can emotionally love certain people, but emotionally love God? No, loving God is letting God love us in the poverty of our inability to receive the infinite love. We are very limited, poor in how we can receive God's love. And we say, more please, or could it be differently? Or how can you love me this way? I'll be the decider about whether this is your love for me or not. Poverty. Being loved and loving is a holy poverty. And it is God's love that helps us to live with that poverty. It's that love that we receive in the Eucharist, in our limited way, in the poverty of our hand, in the poverty of our minds. He doesn't choose to love us. He loves us.